How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out 13 strange Dutch habits. So I have no clue what these are going to be, but the original channel is right here, Marlowe's Peters. I think I pronounced it right. I don't know. But anyways, as always, there will be a link in the description section down below where you can find that original video. And while you're down there, you might as well hit like, hit subscribe. And we're gonna jump into this and see what this is all about. 13 strange Dutch habits.
I've been living in the UK for the last 7 years now, and for me it's really easy to pick up on some what I think are strange British habits. But nonetheless, we shouldn't forget that the Dutch have a few strange habits of their own. So in this video I'm going to talk about 13 habits that I think are not strange at all, but as a foreigner they might be. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the word gezellig. So for you the sound comes from your throat.
Gezellig. I think that means comfortable or cozy.
So it doesn't sound very appealing, but gezellig is very important in Dutch culture. So it might translate as cozy or nice, but there's not a real proper English translation for the word. So what are things that are gezellig then? It can mean seeing your friends.
Yeah, I think it's like a multi-use kind of situation where you know, like she said, comfortable, cozy, calm, peaceful. Like it could be used in a lot of different ways, I think.
That you haven't seen in a long time, spending time with family, going out for dinner. A city can be gezellig. So it's a very broad concept. So the second thing is where I'm going to talk about birthday parties. When you go to a Dutch birthday party,
I know this one too. You go in, you congratulate the entire family, even like the uncles, the sisters, cousins, whatever. And then everybody sits in like a circle, I think. Just little bits that I've gathered from these videos.
you will often see lots of Dutch people sitting in a circle talking about general things such as the weather. But what a lot of people find the strangest
The weather.
about this all, that you
It's always the weather with the Dutch, right? And it's funny because around here, like we talk about the weather a lot too. We have similar weather though, but instead of everything happening in a day like it is in the Netherlands, here it's like it's all in a week. So it's a little bit slower paced on the changes, but it's it's funny.
a lot of people find the strangest thing of this all, that you don't just celebrate the birthday boy or girl, you congratulate their parents, you might even congratulate their brothers or your sisters, and you go around a long circle, and all of them you congratulate them with giving them 3 kisses on the cheek.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the whole congratulatory thing is kind of strange. And then the kissing on the cheek, I was aware of that. You see it in movies, about Europe and stuff like that. A lot of European countries do that.
The third thing is that Dutch people do have a habit of being thrifty and not liking to spend money on a lot of things. So if you give
I don't like to
someone
either.
Dutch a compliment on like clothes or something else that they bought, surprisingly some of them might come back to not saying like, oh thank you, but also saying this is such a good bargain, this is how much I paid for it. So
Okay.
finding those really good deals that are really cheap, that's a typical Dutch quality. The fourth one,
I love it. I've been like that forever. Like, even if I have extra money, right now I don't. I'm broke, but even if I have like money to blow, I'm still trying to find the cheapest deal that I can. Like, why waste it? Like make that money stretch as long as you can.
one is probably one of my favorite Dutch habits. I really can't go without licorice. So licorice in the Netherlands comes in all sizes, all shapes. You can have something really sweet, but the more traditional version is very salty.
Very
So
salty.
sometimes when you go to restaurants, they would give you this little lollipop, which seemed quite normal, but then when you bite it, there's like pure salt in the inside. So
I've had, I think it was like salmiak balls or something like that. That was similar to that, where it was like powder inside of it. That's not for me. It's clearly an acquired taste.
I've taken licorice with me everywhere when I went on my travels, for instance when I went to Brazil. And I haven't really found a lot of people outside of the Netherlands that actually really like the salty licorice.
I mean, the licorice ain't bad, but the more salt it is, the more least likely I'll like it. But what I was talking about earlier wasn't necessarily licorice; it was more the salmiak, that orange kind of stuff. But she must not have traveled to Nordic countries because or Scandinavian countries. There's a ton of Scandinavian people that love salt licorice too.
The fifth one is when you go camping as a Dutch person, you go camping in style. So while with camping a lot of people think of like getting in touch with nature and going back to basics, lots of Dutch people would have a caravan, so you have nice hot water for your own shower, very comfortable, and my parents even have got a camper so they can tour.
There's a lot of people that do it like that here too. They'll get like the RV or whatever, you know, and it is comfortable. It's cozy, gezellig or whatever, you know. But nothing beats good old fashioned camping with a tent. I don't know.
The sixth one is about free camper, so they can tour around. The sixth one is about frietjes, so which are the Dutch fries. So you can buy them in every street corner in the Netherlands, and while that doesn't seem like a strange habit maybe, we do tend to add a lot of mayonnaise to it, and the mayonnaise does taste differently than what you would be used to in the UK, so it has a different flavour. People might even...
You know, it's funny. I don't know if you've seen Pulp Fiction or not, but there's a scene in Pulp Fiction where the guy was talking about he just got back from Amsterdam, you know, and he was telling the other guy about it and everything about the fries. He's like, "Oh yeah, the fries are good, but he's like they drown the shit in mayonnaise." He said they put mayonnaise on everything. He couldn't stand it, and he was talking about how much mayonnaise they would put on everything, like in Amsterdam, like more specifically the fries. But that was funny.
You can find strangers that you can also have satay on top of it, which I really like. It's a really nice peanut sauce. So it's not just the fries itself, it's also the topping that goes with it. And you've got some typical Dutch snacks such as croquettes and frikandel, which you can't really get here in the UK.
The fabo.
This is all about cycling. So if you think of the Netherlands, it's such a small country that you could drive for maybe 3-4 hours and you could cross the whole of the country. So relatively speaking, everything is close by, and because it's so flat, it's very easy to cycle everywhere. So for us it would be very normal to use just cycling as a commute to go to work. So we've got dedicated bicycle lanes, unlike in the UK, and the Dutch wouldn't be all kitted out to go for a bike ride, because usually people cycle without their helmet on. The ninth point?
Speaking of cycling, there's more bikes than people in the Netherlands.
This is about King's Day. Or really any time where the Dutch celebrate something, we would dress up completely in orange. Orange is the official colour of the Dutch royal family, and because they came from the house of Oranje, which means orange. But really, it's not just all about King's Day. So we would dress up in orange, for instance, on World Cup football matches, or anything where we tend to celebrate things. So any Dutch person would have like an orange jacket or something in their cupboard just to celebrate for the right occasion. The 10th thing.
Speaking of orange, I have my jersey back there with my name right there in orange.
This is not about the general Dutch houses, but if you would go to the Netherlands, you might find it odd that some of those typical, very narrow Dutch houses by the canal.
Is she going to talk about the staircases, how narrow and steep they are? I wonder. Or is it the fact that the houses are skinnier than they are long? Like they're deeper than they are wide.
That they've got these kind of twisted steps going up all the way, and it might seem quite dangerous to you that you have to go down all the way down 2 stairs if you want to go to the toilet. So the houses can seem a bit dangerous if you're not used to what they are. So point 11.
Another thing about the houses, they're skinnier than they are long because at the time there was a thing where the housing tax was based on how wide the house was. It didn't say nothing about how deep the house was. So they would try to make the house as skinny as possible to pay as least house tax, and then they would have that deepness to make up for it. And then another thing is the outer walls, I guess, will lean outward instead of them being like a perfect like 90-degree angle. The outer walls will lean. Sorry, camera's in a weird spot. It'll lean out like that, and then above the window there'll be like a little hook thing on a pulley, and it's because the staircases are so small, narrow, whatever, and steep, and a lot of the houses are so skinny that a lot of the furniture has to be hoisted up a pulley into the upstairs window. So they lean the outer wall out. That way, the couch or whatever you're lifting up is not bouncing and dragging off the side of the house. It's got clearance the whole way up. That is awesome. That is Dutch efficiency at its finest. I love it.
Well, I can't count it on my fingers anymore. But for the Dutch, it's pretty normal that a big part of our country is below sea level. So we're not worried about it at all, and we've got systems in place to control the water for quite a long time.
And a lot of Dutch people say that they actually feel it's safer there than anywhere else if it floods because they're so used to being able to take care of and managing the water that if like the world floods or whatever, global catastrophe, for instance, that the Netherlands might be one of the safest places to go to because they're so used to it. They're going to be prepared. They got the equipment, the tools, the know-how to be able to take care of such a situation. You know what I mean?
Control the water for quite a long time. And the funny thing is that I've heard Dutch people tend to be really tall, and they used to say that this was because we have to have our head above the water.
I'm tall too.
The 12th tip is probably one of my favorites, and this is all about having chocolate for breakfast. Well, we're not talking here about a chocolate cake as such, but we're talking about having bread. It's very typical Dutch because we would have bread in the morning, we would have it in the afternoon as well.
Bread. Let's talk about haggleslag, guys. That stuff right there. I got some dark chocolate over here too. Special dark. I don't know if you can see this or not, but good stuff.
But what is unusual is that we tend to have a lot of chocolate on it. Then there's no limit here because you can have chocolate paste, chocolate sprinkles, chocolate savings, anything
Haggleslag.
you want. And then the final point, and point 14, is Sinterklaas. Who would celebrate Christmas
Oh, yeah.
on the 25th of December if you've got Sinterklaas on the 5th of December, a bit earlier? So generally, kids would get their presents from Sinterklaas rather than having a lot of presents for Christmas, as you might see in the UK. And one of my favorite things for Sinterklaas as well is all the candy that comes with it. And not surprisingly, if you look at point 12,
And the candy comes and you leave your shoes out and the candy gets put in your shoes. The crude note and pepper note and all that stuff. And then like the bad kids, they get put in a sack and sent on a steamship to Spain. Yeah.
and not surprisingly, if you look at point 12 about the chocolate, for Sinterklaas we also get chocolate letters. So you would get your own name spelled in chocolate letters. And luckily my name is quite long. So here was my list of 13 things that I find are actually quite normal, but I can imagine for people living outside the Netherlands this might not be the case. So if you want to know more about the quirky British habits, then please have a look at this video.
Okay. Well, whoops. My thanks auto plays on. I don't like that. No. Bye, Mark. Sorry. All right. So that was that. Let me know what you guys think. I think she could have elaborated on it a little bit more, but if you guys have anything to add to it, let me know down below. And I was looking at the wrong camera. I guess you guys are right there. You're not over there anymore. But have a super fun, awesome day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, bye.